Good evening, everybody. Oh, it's so good to be back. So, welcome to episode 7 of Build the OpenRC Tractor by Makit Pro. This week, we're going to begin on the steering. The steering will take us 3 weeks, and then that will build the front half of the tractor. So, I have 3 lovely people to help me today. The first one who will be building is going to be Adrian Langley.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
I haven't seen you since last night.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so my second guest tonight would normally be building, but he flits between 2 addresses, and this particular address he's not able to build, so he will be doing a catch-up later. It's my very good friend, Farmer Fleetwood.
Hello, hello.
Hello, and how are you?
Feeling a bit better. I've had a rough week.
You had to think a little bit about that, but you came out with a good positive okay. So
yeah.
Okay, so if any of us call ourselves Farmer, this is the guy who will put us all to shame as the great pretenders. It's Dave Say.
Hello.
Oh.
Hello, Penny. Hello, Adrian. Hello, Fleetwood.
Well, I think Dave's the farm manager, isn't he?
Yeah. Trouble is, the only farm manager I've ever seen is that one from the green grass of home, or so I wouldn't want to call him a farm manager because that's what I would be thinking of. So, right, anybody got any news?
News? I thought you said nudes.
Here is the news. So, Goldcraft first comment goes to P40F20. How are you, my very good friend? I'll just give you a quick update, P40. The magazines that I've got for you stand about this tall. Now, obviously, this is the first package I've sent you, but I know that if I go over a certain weight, it actually becomes very, very slow and quite expensive. So the lady in the post office is really helpful, and it's actually cheap. So you may get your magazines in 2 bundles, but it works out. It's actually a smaller bundle, so 2 smaller bundles tracked. Airmail is actually cheaper than 1 big one sent by slow boat unchecked. So, but I'll sort that all out on Monday when the post office is open. So, right, shall we go straight into the build and then we can spend the rest of the evening just talking crap like we normally do?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's do a screen share. I'll get all the boring crap over with first, which is the bits and the bobs. Or the bobs and the bits. So we are on week 7. I'll go through. Have I showed that properly? Not quite. Okay, so you may not be able to see this, and I apologize if you can't. So in this section here, under week 7, these are the parts that we need, which I'll go through in a moment. Now, what I've advised is to buy the steering arm rods, the caps, and the rear side arms. You don't actually need them in this issue, but this week's total cost is £11.53. So if you didn't buy those, you would be spending like £1 or about £3, £3 or £4. And then in a future episode, you would need £20, £30. So I've just put those in just to spread the cost a little bit. Then we also looking at, sounds like Adrian, I'm going to guess, is sorting his bits out ready.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I've shown you the SMDs, haven't I? The small, tiny LED. So I put in a pack of red ones. I will show you them again when we get a bit closer to the time. And another set of bearings, which is the 8x22x7, which I'll show you when we come to using them. And that's all the bits we need to buy for this week. That leaves the parts that we need to print, which is Adrian's got his parts ready as well. So we'll see if we can do a dual showing off the parts. So the first part that we need is the front bridge. Piece number 3, the front bridge, which I think is this piece here. So you've got a hole in the middle, and this is going to go onto the bottom of the chassis. This will then hold the axles, the bridge, whatever you want to call it. I'm not great with technical names. You've got a normal screw hole this side and a nut-shaped hole there, so you can pretty much guess how that's going to go in. So that is the front bridge, isn't it? Or is that the front bridge?
No.
I can't remember. So, well, I'll tell you what, I'll just go through the bits then. So
It
we've
really
got...
would be, I suppose the technical term would be axle swivel,
Okay.
would be the triangle bit, the axle swivel.
Right. I'll tell you what, we'll just kind of wing it. So we've got the lower chassis, and this is the part, hole in the middle. That's where the servo is going to go. So this piece I've just shown you is going to go there, and then we have a block, which is going to go in there, which will help hold this in place. And then onto that will go this block, and it's got a rounded side and a square side. And then you've got I know these are axle holders, and these are multi-positional. If you notice, there's 3 holes there, and there's 3 holes there, and you can actually put these into that position, and that position. Now, I don't know what position we actually want, so I'm going to put them in the middle, and then we can always do fine tuning when we get to the end. And I believe you have a name for this, Dave.
Yeah, that's a row crop axle.
Right. So what is a row crop axle?
Well, a row crop axle would be fitted to a row crop tractor. And the idea is that the axle on the front can be adjusted to the row in the field. And similarly, the rear wheels can be adjusted to the row in the fields. So if you've got a wide row, you would alter your axles wide. And if you've got a narrow row,
perhaps, I guess cabbages would be quite wide.
Yeah, cabbages, potatoes.
So that would be perhaps more closer to that.
Yeah.
And then something like, I don't know, spring onions.
Oh, definitely very small. Yes. Yeah,
Right.
very small.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Okay. So he's obviously thought of everything.
Yes.
Brilliant. Okay.
Well, the type of tractor that you're building is a row crop tractor.
Right. Fantastic. So the last pieces we've got are the axle holders. Now they will go on like so. This piece at the back there will have a steering rod which will attach to the servo. And what will happen is, if all goes well, it will, as if the servo swings that way, it will pull this one and push this one there that way. And if it swings that way, it will push this one and pull this one. So your steering will do that. Obviously not that much, but... And that is what we are going to be building today. Quite a few people. When I first started planning this, I thought, well, some weeks there's not actually going to be an awful lot to do. But when you compare this to a part work, I think I'm actually wrong, aren't I? I think
that's quite a bit, lot.
It's just that when we get electronics, obviously they cost a little bit more, so you get less for your 15 quid. Now, the only problem is I've not had time to check up on the videos, so I cannot remember the screws that we need. So I'm going to be playing it by ear. So I do know that we want to be placing these pieces on first. which will then enable us to place this piece on, which then, now hang on, these two go together, then that can go on, and then these can go on. So we're going to start off. I know we're going to need some countersunk screws because it's got a countersunk hole, and we're going to need a couple of nuts because this has got the nuts in it. And I think this is a very small screw. So I'm going to take a guess at
about 12.
M3 nuts. I think smaller than that, actually. I think it's more like 6 or 8.
Right, yeah.
Now, I can't remember. Did we order any 6s?
No.
No.
The smallest ones I've got are 8s.
Right. I know I ordered some for other projects. So I've actually got 6s. So I'm trying not to use the 6s. But what we'll do is I'll pop an 8 in there. And then I think an 8 is going to be... Sorry, I need my light. Right, an 8 is going to be too small. So I think we might be looking more at a 12mm countersunk. However, these blocks, they've got a hole that even goes even further. So I suppose one way to test it. You see that this can actually
The 12 looks perfect.
12 looks perfect, does it? So we'll have a little test.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
There's my 12.
Chicken dinner. Right. Okay, so the first stage, we're going to need 2 12mm countersunks and 2 M3 nuts. And I'm going to pop the nuts into here, like so. We've done this before, but I am going to place it so these hold at the front, because we won't see any of this, but we're more likely to see this side than we are to see that side. So, and I'm not, a bit of a dilemma with this. Should we put one nut in at a time? Because while we're working on one, the other one's not going to fall. But if we do put one at a time, will the second one be awkward? So, right. Oh, hang on. I've done that. Oh, yeah. Right, of course. Right. So we need to place one screw into there. And we just need to place... Right. So I'm going to place it with a nut at the back. Again, it's just purely aesthetics. So we're placing one nut in, one screw, and then obviously we want to get this the correct way round. So I'm just going to pop that in there. I'm just going to screw this screw up just enough so it bites, which that does not want to bite. So it could be I've not quite got my nuts in properly. There we go. Yeah, that felt like. So now we've got that in. I can rotate this. You don't want to put it in too tight because then you can't rotate this one round. So I'll just wait for Adrian to catch up. It's far easier when we all keep at the slowest person's speed. Otherwise, we're all in a muddle. I'm doing this.
Actually, I'm going to put my little block in the other way.
That's fine. We'll see. We'll do a comparison later on then. I'm just trying to think of what we're going to see from what angle. I think this block that's currently upside down, I don't think it's going to matter whatsoever which way round you do it. This one is just purely aesthetics, because obviously I think the tops of the screws, the button head screws, are far more attractive than the nuts. So I want the nut showing before I want the button head screw to show more than the nut. So I'll do a quick catch up.
Was going to say, do you want to do you and Adrian on screen building rather than? I mean, if it's all right with Jason, that is.
I can only get 1 big and 3 small, or all the same size.
Right.
So I don't think it's. I mean, you guys, viewers, you tell me if it's a problem. But I don't think.
It'd be nice if you could select what screens you want on Wasn't it?
Well, I can actually cut you off, or I can do a solo. But I kind of want you on the show. I mean, do you want to try it?
It's entirely up to you.
Hang on, right. Fleetwood, do me a favor and just count to 20. Don't start yet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to remove you from the stream. I'm going to see if we can still hear you. Okay, go. Count.
Yeah.
Count.
Okay. 1, 2.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
No.
So if I actually remove you, so we're either going to have one big screen like this, all equally sized, or we'll have one big and the three of you, but then we can't see Adrian building. So I'll go with, or we just forget to invite Dave and Fleetwood next week. So hellos to P40F20. Chris Davey says hello. Dave says hi, obviously, because he's a very friendly person. Chris Davies, LEDs be good this time of year from tomorrow. Hi, P40 and Dave. Yeah, good, thanks. Fleetwood J saying hello. We've got Chris Campbelling. How are you, Chris Campbelling? And Chris Davies says it's fine. Chris Campbelling says, hi, Chris. How are you? I'm God. I'm sure that was a spelling mistake, wasn't it? Although Chris Campbelling is some kind of part work god. I'll take that away from him. And I missed the comment where Chris Davies says squirrels love nuts, but I don't think they'll love these nuts. Although there's plenty of iron in them.
True.
Yeah. Fleetwood just give a big sigh there, going, God. Oh, I'll tell you what, I was rather tired in work today. A little bit, well, I say a little bit annoyed, more like a lot annoyed. And as a result, my sarcasm switch was turned on full. And as I finished my 12 and a bit hour shift, I got off my bus and someone said to me, is there going to be another driver taking over? I said, I'll be honest with you, I don't know. And, well, I'd had my duty change partway through. I thought I was finishing at 4 o'clock. Anyway, so this bloke goes, oh, well, it says on the timetable 18:15 or 19:15 it's due out. And I just looked at him and went, yeah. And on my bit of paper this morning, it said I was finishing at 1600. So I'm sure over the next week while I'm off, there'll be so many complaints being generated. And then, because we had the rugby match today, Wales versus Barbarians. I don't know if anyone's into rugby. I'm not in particularly, but Wales did win. But obviously, from a bus driver point of view, it means it's a nightmare getting into Cardiff. So my 45-minute trip into Cardiff took an hour and a half. And then coming back again took an hour.
Oh.
So, yeah, I got to the hospital on the way back. And this guy said, well, what happened to the guy that went into Cardiff? I said, well, I suspect he'll be on his way out at some point. And he goes, well, it's due at 1:45. It was due at 1:45. I went, yeah, I guess he's on his way. He goes, but it's 2:15 now. I said, put it this way. I said, I was due at 1 o'clock. He went, oh, so you mean they're running late? I went, yes, you got it.
Dear, oh dear.
So, yeah, it's...
Penny, did yours nicely slide in?
I haven't got that far yet, Adrian. I was waiting for you to catch up and you zoomed ahead of.
No, I haven't. Yeah, I've done my job, and I was just basically while you're talking.
Oh, my nuts fell out.
Talking, I just.
Right, so I can now, oh, actually, no, that's not too bad. Right, so if you want to pop one nut in, I've just found out if you only put that in loosely, you can actually rotate this round, and that will give you the room to put the nut in. Not as much room as putting them in beforehand, but that's actually not too bad. So I'm just going to pop that second screw in. So obviously we've got one has been put in loosely.
Penny frogs, was it me?
Pardon?
You're just looking for that if you're frozen, or is it me?
Yeah, it's frozen.
Yeah, it looks like you're frozen, Penny.
Oh,
Frozen,
okay,
yeah.
I have frozen. Right.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
That's right. No, I did that on purpose.
Anna.
Can you hear me all right, guys?
Yeah, we can hear you, yeah.
yes.
Okay, let me change the cameras. Thanks for pointing that out. I probably wouldn't have noticed.
Frozen again, look.
Yeah, I've just changed the camera and I've changed the camera back. It looks like it's not picking up my overhead camera. So, right, okay, guys, I'm going to resort to plan B. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch the cameras around very, very quickly. So the camera that I normally present into will now be at my overhead camera, and then I can see it later on. It just takes 2 minutes.
Yeah, you're all right.
It does mean I need to hang my camera somewhere. Oh, it's back on again. There we go.
On, yeah.
Right, so sorry, guys. This might go dizzy cam for a bit.
Have you got a loose connection or something?
I don't know. Maybe the computer's a little bit tired. I have been doing quite a lot. I've started a 3D print this morning for someone that's going to take nearly 6 days.
Good God.
So that's probably, yeah, it took about 10 minutes to slice. It really was hard work for it. So maybe I just need a reboot. I'm a little bit concerned. I'm actually going to take these screws right out because I'm wondering if I've got the wrong screw in. Because this first one took quite a few screws to get in. This one went in literally with a couple of turns. So I'm wondering if I've got odd screws. So
Don't tell me you put a 12 mil in, you put a 16 mil in.
that's interesting because I have put the correct size. I've put consistent sizes in. But one took many turns to get in, and the other one literally went in with a couple of turns. So
Is it the nuts that's different?
it could no. I think it might actually be the plastic. Yeah, because this has gone in with more now. So right, so those screws are in, but they're not tight. So I just want to check this is okay. So I'm happy with that. And I will just finish tightening these. So that's nice and tight. So I want these tight, but not so tight that I break the plastic. You can certainly go a lot tighter than the Routemaster plastic parts, because obviously these are big, thicker and chunkier. Now, that's interesting. That's a little bit odd shape. But I don't think that's going to matter. That I think that's only to hold this bit in. So let's have a little play with a ruler.
And plus, you're not cutting the thread into metal. You're already screwing to a thread.
Yeah.
And you find a deeper thread cut.
Right. I'm happy that that is level. And the way I think it's level is if I rest the ruler on there. I'm doing this only by eye, but if you look at the marks on the ruler, actually it's not level. So this wants to come down a bit. That's interesting. So is that tolerances on my printer, or is it a design flaw? There you go. Let's see, there's a little bit of a wobble. So what I will do, I will get that to what I think is absolutely square, which I think is there. And I'm holding that hard with my finger. Now I'm going to tighten them up. And then I will check again with my ruler. You don't have to use a ruler, just find something with some markings. Okay, I'm actually quite happy with that. I don't think it's going to make a massive difference because we can adjust the wheels. So if these are ever so slightly that way, we'll just adjust the wheels that way. You know, this isn't scientifically, you know, needs to be scientifically spot on, but obviously getting it as nice looking as we can helps. So is that the part you're up to then?
Yeah.
Right, so we can now put our Phillips head away. The next part we need is this one. Now, note that there are two rounded edges and a flat edge. And we want the flat edge to be up. Except I'm working upside down, so I want this down. So we just need to line that up. Now, that is quite tight.
It's a lot harder to get in.
Yeah, so what I'm going to do...
I don't know if Makit actually said a certain way. If I got time later, I'll probably watch his and see what he says.
Yeah, I don't recall him saying anything, but obviously this is a moving part, so we don't want it touching too much. So, hello, Dave Milne, how are you? So what I'm going to do is, it's usually, if anything's tight, it's usually tolerances on my 3D printer. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get a needle file and I'm just going to give that a bit of a rub. And I can see, you probably can't see them, but you might be able to. Where it's gone dull, that's the parts that I filed. And it's not actually going dull evenly. So that tells me that this surface is uneven. So that's definitely my tolerance on the printer.
Penny, as you got a perfect corner and you got curved corners, and have my curved corners upwards.
What, like this?
Yes.
Okay.
Basically, where it was printed on the bed, that's still the bottom.
Oh, so you're having it that
where you
way
had the print. Yeah.
So
what's the surface of the bed or the printer?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Any particular reason why you've done?
That's the way I'd have it as well.
Is it?
Yeah.
So why would you have it that way then?
Just looks a bit more pleasing, but it looks stronger that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
So you've got a curved edge.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you've got a nice curved edge looking at it.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Compared to
looking at it from the top.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. If you could have printed it that way up, printing it, you could have four sides curved edge. But that would have been a longer print.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So I've given that a little rub and that is a lot better. So I'm rather happy with that. So you can see I'm moving that with hardly any effort at all.
Yeah.
Obviously this is a moving part. So I have put this on the wrong way round. I do actually want that the other way around. I don't think it's going to make a difference. So I'm going to have to figure out what screws we want. I think this is going to be a 25 or possibly a 30.
Yes, that's what I made it as.
25?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think it's a 25 as well, yes.
Let's have a look at a 25. Oh, I think actually a 25 might be too long. So let's have a look at a 20. I actually think a 20 might be perfect there. I will go with a 20. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop the button head screw through, and then I'm going to pop the nut through, or you can do it the other way around. Actually, I'm going to do it the other way around. So there's the nut, and I'm just going to hold that nut into place, and the screwdriver that I had.
You're going to go with a button nut, or you're going to go for locking nut?
Oh, yes, of course. Sorry, guys, it's meant to be a nylock. Thank you for reminding me.
Because if it's a real tractor, you don't want that nut coming undone.
Exactly. Yeah, no, you're dead right. So, yeah, is why I love co-hosts, you see. They pick up the bits I forget.
I've got 2 wheels on my tractor. The other 2 are left in the field.
Well, I mean, if those front wheels fall off, it'll make ploughing a lot easier. So as we've got a bigger nut,
down the field instead.
we may actually want a longer nut bolt then. So this is harder to get in now.
Or you do a crafty thing and you end up putting the nut in the other way.
Well, oh, there you go. That's gone in perfect. And that actually looks like it is designed for that. So, right, let's give this a go then. I think 20 might be too short now. Yeah. So 25, because it's a bigger nut. If you were using just a normal nut, I'm still convinced that would be perfect. Is that 20? I still think that's a bit long. No, that'll be okay. We also got to remember we're not going to be tightening this up fully. So I'm befuddled as to how I've lost my screwdriver. I had it a second ago. Well, a bit more than a second ago, but it was on my desk. Now, if I actually use the proper holder, oh, here it is. So, yeah, if I use the proper holder, oh, there we go. You can always tell when it's going into the nylocks. So there is actually a little bit showing on the end, but nothing significant. So what I would suggest is that we're going to tighten this up fully, and then we're going to back it off a bit until that's quite loose. So now, following Makit, what he's done is when he's built it, he shakes it and it should all move freely. There isn't really enough weight there to be able to do that. But I would suggest that's
enough.
Yeah. It's basically it's moving fairly by itself. It wants to move it freely. I could try to describe that pressure, but it's more feel than anything else. But look, I'm moving.
You've got the wheels to put on there, yeah. That'll add the weight as well, won't it? So
yeah, that you can see an empty pot is enough weight to knock that one side to the other.
Yeah, that's fine.
So I would say, hardly any weight on it. There you go. Look, this axle holder is enough to knock it. So that's enough pressure. Well, that's loose enough. Right. So, any guesses? Do you think on the next on these bits? 20? Do you reckon? 16 possibly, but I think 20 might be a good candidate. So if I'd have had time to watch the videos again, I've watched the videos about 1 million times, and that probably isn't much of an exaggeration. But yeah, I'd say 16's good there.
yeah, that's what I put on mine.
Yeah. What you mean? You've already built it?
I've got to that sort of stage without putting the wishbones on.
Yeah.
At home. I was just playing around before I left and had a look. The only one that I was sort of stumped on was the next stage, how long the screw was. The next stage.
Right, so
You might be pushing it for locking that.
pardon?
You might be pushing it for the locking nut.
What do you mean?
You put locking nuts on there now, Adrian, are you?
Yes.
All right.
I don't understand what you're saying, Adrian, or what you mean.
He's putting nylocks on.
Yes,
No,
that's
that's
what I'm putting on. Now you will need a spanner of some description because you need to hold those. So what I'm going to do is take the axle holders. You can put them any way round you want, and two screws should be sufficient for those. So I'll just pop one through there, and I'll put one nylock nut on this side, and these can go on tight because they're not a moving part, they're just extending that end. So sorry, Adrian, are you up to this stage?
No, just checking something else, that's all.
Okay. So I've put mine in the middle position. I really don't know what I'm going to like the look of, or what's going to be practical or whatever until I think once we've got the wheels on there and the tires, then we'll kind of get an idea of what it's going to look like. You know, that looks, I don't know, what does that look? Fairly wide.
Yeah, it's not too bad. Yeah.
I don't know until we've got the rest of it. But we know how easy this is going to be to adjust. It's probably going to be.
Makit's got here is screwing 1 and 3.
Right. Be careful, guys. I've actually overscrewed this and started to crack it. So I'm just going to back that off a little bit. I've got away with that. So I think I might actually be keeping that like that. So you might want to put a shim, is it what you'd call it? Just to fatten that a bit. So I'll put the other side in if I can find it. I had it. I've shown it to you and here it is. So make sure these are pointing downwards. And that won't go in because I haven't put it in right. So there we go. So we want, well, I'm putting it 3 holes in, but like I say, that's sort of the middle position. Oh, I'm being a bit clumsy today. Sorry, guys. So, nylock. This is not going well for me. And second nylock. Spanner. So I've been a little bit more careful on this one, but that's fine. There's a little bit of a wobble on it, but you know, it's a model. So if that was my real tractor, oh, there we go. I've got that wobble now. That was exactly what Makit did on his videos when he did that. So that shows you that they're loose. So, we happy, Dave?
Yeah.
Looking good?
Yeah, it's looking brilliant.
Right, so while Adrian catches up, I'll just discover these screws. I think these are going to be bigger. Yeah, so I did finish a little bit later than I was hoping to. And we had a bit of an emergency. When I say a bit of an emergency, some guy decided to be sick in a location where no one could prove it. Not saying I'm skeptical or anything like that. not suggesting for 1 minute you just didn't feel like working on Saturday. And just went, I know, I'll go to outer terminus and just make out I've been sick. So Penny to the rescue. So, in case I forget, these are 35mm bolts.
Are these going to act as kingpins then for the ends?
If I knew what a kingpin was, I could answer that. They're going to go into the axle holders, which is going to go like how I did like the first time, like that.
Yeah, they're going to go straight down them.
Straight down. So the bolt will go, bolt head will go there.
Yeah.
You've got in that hole.
A kingpin.
Kingpin. So now I know what a kingpin is.
Yeah. Main pivot point on the steering.
I know that my old taxi had kingpins, but I didn't. I always thought a kingpin was something that gave, because on a taxi the steering can go pretty much like that, because you could do a 1-point turn in the most narrow of streets, and it was so handy because as you drive past someone and they shout taxi, you could just go whoa, yes, and pick them up. So Dave,
it's basically a pin that the steering swivels on.
Main pivot point, isn't it?
Yeah.
So Dave Milner's got 91, 92, 93. I think I've got 93 of the Routemaster. I think it's my issue, but I can't tell anymore because I'd set the second subscription up, but the shop hadn't set it up. I think they've forgotten. So I reminded them, so they've set a second subscription up. And then the issues that we had, that I thought were on subscription, have now been reordered on back issue. So, and then the next day, issue 93 came in. So I don't actually know if it was the back order one that's come in or my issue. So, but it's not a problem for me.
As long as you've got two sort of thing, and at the end of the day, as long as you've got two of them.
Well, I have to remember now from a certain issue, I need 3 copies. But what I've done a little cheat sheet, so I tick off everything I've got. There we go. So we've got a little sheet here. It's got all the numbers, and then I've got what I've got and when I got them and when they're due. Obviously, from 94, they're only question marks, and then I can tick them off as I get them. So then I'll give 1 copy to the newsagents. They've actually still got. Do you remember that list we got last Christmas when the issues were coming out?
Yeah.
I printed off a copy for her reference, and she's actually put that in my folder, and it's still in there.
Yeah.
So, I know she's good at keeping notes, but they were on a panic this week because I went in and they went, "You've got 6 magazines in there." And I go, yeah, don't panic. And then I picked up 2. And then I went in the next day and they went, "You've got 6." And I'm like, "I should have 4." And they go, "No, you've got 6." So I'm like, okay, I'll pick.
You've had another 2 coming.
So I normally see what I'd done was I normally go in on a Wednesday. And because there were a lot of issues, the promise I've got them, I said, if I haven't got all the money, so long as I buy more than sort of 2 or 3 issues, that's okay. They'll let me clear the backlog. So I said, well, I'll go in on the Thursday because that's my payday, and then I'll just let issue 94, 95, whatever sit there until I catch up. But I've now caught up. Yeah, and then on Monday I'll get rid of these ones from my shelf, and then I'll actually have room on the shelf again.
Yeah.
So
we've got David Bassett there in the chat. Hi, David.
Yeah, I wasn't ignoring you, Dave. So have you enjoyed your day off from football today? No football for us today because we lost in the first round replay. I am annoyed by that, but you know, That's how it goes, isn't it? Mind you, saying that, you know, you play someone 3 times, you go into the 3rd match. Horlicks has just sent me a message. He's not able to make it tonight, but he is actually in the audience. So, hi, Horlicks.
Hi, Horlicks.
Hi, Horlicks.
And he just sent me a photo. Yeah, so I suppose if you play someone 3 times, the 3rd time you go in as favourites, there's always that chance that they he's building as well.
Oh, brilliant.
So that's the stage he's at the moment. I'm sure he won't mind me showing you that.
Oh, brilliant.
He's annoying because his looks so nicer than mine, yet it's the same.
Oh, wow, Horlicks.
Hello, Matthew Boreham. How are you? Okay, how are you getting on, Adrian?
I'm fine. You just continue if you need to. I can always...
Okay.
Sometimes I'll get a bit fast using some bits.
Dave Mills' team drew a Man City. I believe that's Newcastle. Tell me it's Newcastle. Yeah, it must be Newcastle because it wouldn't be Sunderland. Sunderland aren't in the Premiership. Ha ha ha! Sorry. I think it's funny when any big club, especially when their fans are a little bit full of themselves and, you know, oh, we're a big club, and they drop a division or 2 and they can't get back up again. So, and I, you know, I would say that, you know, Man United, Liverpool, Man City, the lot, you know, if you start giving it the bigger, no, we're brilliant, and then you drop and then you can't get back up again, I'll be the first one laughing. So, right. So I'll be honest with you, I'm a little bit worried about this. I think it's probably the print quality. So I might reprint that and then redo it when you guys can't see it. So this is going to go on like this. You're going to have this piece sticking out to the side, and you're going to have it on the bottom, and then you have it goes backwards.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So I'm going to turn it upside down to do it. And the reason for that is because I want to drop a nut into the top to hold, to keep that in. And
your choice of nut is?
A nylock, M3 nylock. So that's in there. That's gone in quite nice, actually. So then I'll pop, I'll just move that over. Well, I might move it on its side. I'll just push the nut in through there, and then that's pushed the nut out. So that I didn't quite work as well as I hoped. And that's upside down. So, and this one wants to go on fairly tight, but we still need that looseness. So, whoops. Yeah, I'm actually going to use the Aurea for this because I've had that over tight. So poor old Matthew's about to have surgery on his teeth. So, right. So this, what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to tighten it, and then I'm going to back it off. And I
reckon tightness. If you move it around and it stays sort of like say bottomy, it's nice and loose.
I would
flick it out and it drops back down again.
Yeah, I would suggest that's perfect. See, that's just moving on its own, but that nut is just long enough to keep it in. So, I mean, an alternative is to put ordinary nuts in with a little bit of Loctite, not Loctite. What's it called again?
Threadlock.
Threadlock. That's it. So I would suggest that's loose enough. You see, there's plenty of movement there, and there's plenty of movement there. So I would say that's pretty near perfect. And I've just lost that barrier, the bolt that I put in. So lesson learned from the last one. We'll put the nut in first. Sorry, we'll put the bolt in first. So that can drop into there. At least then once that's in, that's in. So I'll hold that. I'll pop that in. give it a couple of turns just to try and get the end on. Carefully turn this. See, I just want to drop that into the little hole. So we'll tighten that up until it's too tight, and then we'll just back it off until it's loose enough. There we go. I'm very happy with that. Yep.
Yep.
So that's it. That is it for this week. But we can see what we're dealing with now, can't we?
Yeah.
So the parts that we're buying for this week are, these are the steering rods, and your first thought is going to be, oh, they're too short. Don't panic, because they're going to go on like that, but they will have, if I can find them, these steering caps on them. And these come in two parts. Now for you, Adrian, I've assembled these. You have a little ball joint. We'll go through this next week, but this ball joint needs to be pushed into there like so, which is extremely hard to do. So I had to use a vise. But what's going to happen is once that's inside, it will actually be like that, and it will rotate round, which it will need to do. And then you'll have two of these, and then these will go on to either end of this. So you can see it's going to make it much longer. And these are actually really hard to do. So you see it's not on properly, but so you can now see that's now probably too long, isn't it? Because that's gone over the middle, and then the other one will come this way. So that will then connect to the steering, and then as the steering moves, it will move it like that.
Yeah.
But more about that next week. So obviously we can adjust the length of this by screwing it in, unscrewing it. And this is where all your fine tuning is going to come in for the steering. Probably don't need to go through it now, but what we'll do is oops, didn't want to put that in there. We will screw those ends onto this until it's roughly right. We won't actually know until we get the wheels on. So there may well be, it might be quite tedious. We'll put them on. We'll see how they sit. We'll take them off. We'll adjust them a little bit. We'll put them back on. Still not quite right. Take them off to adjust them. And obviously, the more time you spend adjusting them, the more accurate you will get them. So really, it's up to you how perfect you want it. So that's that.
Yeah. Brilliant.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. So any questions about that?
Nope.
But if I bring in the parts from 1 to 3, it should now roughly, this is the back, this is the front, and I know that's going to go on like that. So can I begin to see how big it's going to be? Do you want
size of it? Yeah.
It's going to be about 10 inches long. With the wheels, it might make it over 12 inches long.
Yeah.
Which is about 30 centimeters. So it's not going to be small, is it?
No.
So yeah, and then the hood will go on here, all the console and the seat, the wheels.
Yeah.
And then all the rear attachments. So the only worry I've got are these wires too long. I don't know where all the receiver's going to go, but are we going to have one plugging in like that and this one might just be long enough, but how much wire do we want? But you know, we're building this on the well, not on the fly, but we're building this to be really knowledgeable about it, we need to build it.
Yeah.
So we really need to build it a second time to know what we're doing. And this is obviously the first time. So, but I've got a bit of news for you. We're still trying to theorize the ESCs. Lots of questions happening about those. Now, we will need one ESC to control the motor for, to control the motor for the acceleration, for the forward speed. And we're probably going to need another ESC for the motors on the back. If you then want the lifter motor controlled on a different channel, you'll then need a third ESC, which is fine, but each ESC needs to be powered. So you've either got to resolder up a potentially dangerous battery so it can power 3 different things, or we need another solution. Now, I have found this, not that ESC, because that's actually a set of wires.
Well, the dumper trailer and the lifter basically will work on the same plug socket.
No, they won't. Well, they can. Well, they're different motors. So they probably could work on the same plug socket, but we still need 2 ESCs, don't we? Now,
Yes.
I think for the trailer, he's actually put the ESCs on the trailer.
Ah,
And then you plug the power into that ESC. But one thing I've looked at, and I've received this 2 hours ago, so I've not really had time to play with it. This is actually a double ESC. So whereas a normal ESC will look something like that, this one actually looks like this. So we've got I suspect that's the power in. We've got M1, which I think will be a motor, but the connection's different. And then this one says buzz. So I think that's an alarm. It does actually say on the label, low voltage alarm, light control switch, electronic speed control. So, but these leads, they go into channel 2 and channel 3. So I'm wondering if we can control 2 motors with the same ESC. And then this one says LED, and it's only got 2 wires going in. So I think this is designed to be controlling the LEDs. So I will have a play with this. I know absolutely nothing about this. Like I said, I've owned this for I came home from work about 2 hours ago. It was in the envelope, and there it is. So I've shown you, but I know nothing about it. So Fleetwood, you're on. Are you aware that you're on mute? Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, fine.
So, right, so I'll catch up on the. Do you know what? I've got a light. Sorry, I meant to do something earlier. Bear with me a sec. I've got a double LED light switch thingy, and it's one of them's gone, so I can't reach. So it means that it's quite dark in here. It's surprising how dark it is. Yeah, I think that bulb's gone. Right. Oh, problem with this house or this room is that when they go, I have to replace them. I've got 2 double, the big LED tubes. I've got 2 double ones, and because there's 2, it's really bright, but you get used to the brightness. So when one goes, it feels really dark.
yeah.
Now, I've got one in there and one over the bed, and I asked them to change the lights, and they said 1 bulb is considered adequate lighting. if I want more. So what happens is I go out and buy one, then their original bulb goes, but because my one is still working, that's now reconsidered as adequate lighting, and they aren't cheap actually. They're about 5-10 quid each. So I've got three, still got three. That's why I'm thinking about getting one of those smart Amazon smart lamps, and just, you know, put that over by the bed. Right. So right. So Dave Mills says hi, Horlicks. Chris says you like it tighter, Chris. So Matthew Bourne was talking about the MiG-29. Now I've seen that and I do like the look of that, but when you've got a lot of other builds, you've got to sort of say, do I really need it? And it's a Russian jet aeroplane, and that's what it is to me. It looks absolutely fantastic, but I can't really do it, especially as I've just bought. Have I told everybody about my latest acquisition?
Not on this stream, I don't think.
Oh, you're gonna love me. Hopefully the sale is still on. But Model Space are having a Black Friday, so we're having a Black Friday sale. And there was one item in particular that I didn't really want to buy it, but when I saw the price of it, I'm like, yep, I need you in my life. So I have it in my life. So someone's just sent me a message and I don't know who it was. Oh, no, I don't know. I think my computer just caught up. Right, give me a moment, guys, and I will just catch up with you. Excuse me. So let me show you my latest acquisition. So we've still got the Black Friday 60% off sale. There's not actually a lot that you get 60% off. There's the MiG-29. I'm assuming you can see that. Let's put that on the bigger screen. Right, so yeah, when I saw this, I could not say no. This has had a massive... See, some of these are only like 100, 150 pounds off. But look at this one. DC3 reduced from £649 to £259. It's actually gone up. Oh, no, that might actually be the price. Yeah, so that's as near as, damn it, that's £400 off. And I've looked at the build video, a couple of the build videos. This came out around about 2015, so it's a 4-year-old kit. And it looks a little bit old school. So it kind of, the more I look at it, the more I like. You got all these parts, all these wooden parts. So I bought it.
Fabulous.
Blimey.
I will not be building this for a long time. What I had already decided is that when I finish the Millennium Falcon, which will be round about March, I will get another flying model. And I hadn't really decided whether it was going to be the DC-3 or the Thunderbird 2. I wanted to save up and get them in one big chunk, get the full kit rather than monthly, because you save a bit of money. You got to come up with the upfront money, but you do save money. Probably save yourself about £80 by buying it in one chunk. And obviously, I was going to buy either the DC-3 or the Thunderbird 2, and the DC-3's come up, so bang, that's
yeah, fabulous.
And what looks really interesting is it comes in 12 stages, but it doesn't come 4 or 5 issues per stage. It comes in one issue,
right,
with about 58 stages.
Right.
Rather than being, you know how like the Route Master, you get like 8 or 12 stages. And when you buy the packs, like the Millennium Falcon, I get 4 issues a month. And each issue, you get 4 magazines, you get 4 lots of parts. With this one, you get one big lump of parts, usually a wooden sprue.
Yeah.
And then you've got, like I say, about 58 stages. So you've got about, what's that, 58, about 500-600 stages to complete the DC3.
Wow.
The silver wrap scares me, but I've not really had a close look at it. They have advised me it could take a couple of weeks to deliver because they do get a lot of demand when they have the sales.
Yeah.
But I said, that's absolutely fine. I'm not planning on building it until I finish the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
So the MiG, is that not coming out in the newsagents then? That's a bit of a loss, isn't it?
A lot of these partworks now seem to be going subscription only, do you know, and dropping the.
I would like the option of newsagents, although you tend to get a little bit more when you subscribe, like free gifts. But it gives you.
Either what they really should do is actually have one price at the newsagents and another sort of price at subscription wise.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
If the option was £1 an issue cheaper, because they can't be making the same money as from newsagents because they've got 2 middlemen.
Yeah.
So I don't know. So Matthew Baum also says there's a lot of projects on DeAgostini, including the first two Star Wars, Millennium Falcon and the R2-D2. So I'm actually in the middle of doing the Millennium Falcon, and I'm really enjoying it. But there's lots and lots and lots of panels, but it does come out big. The R2-D2. I really like the R2-D2, and I think everyone who's built it seems to like it. But obviously I'm 3D printing the full-sized one, so I'm confident that I can actually get it functioning the same as the DeAgostini for less money, full size. And then I continue developing it further and further. So it would, thinking about it, that R2 looks fantastic, but sure, it's a waste me buying 2, isn't it?
Yeah.
One half scale and one full scale.
There was somebody locally to me that was selling a R2 DeAgostini on my Facebook group.
Yeah.
They were 300 quid for it. Built.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's very cheap.
Good God.
Because
apparently they just put, built it, got bored, now need more space.
Oh.
Really? And it's fully built, is it?
Yeah. And I was so tempted to buy, he had the DB5 as well, built as well. He wanted 400 quid for that. And I was like,
good God, that's cheap.
That's steal.
If I had this 400 quid spare, I would.
Yeah.
So, right, yeah, there's also the Jaguar E-Type. Now, is the Jaguar E-Type, is that a new build? Or is that quite, it looks to me like it's an old build that's finished.
It is an old build because they did that in the subs right, a few years back. That came out around the same time as the DB5 originally, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After.
There you go. Dave sums up. Dave's not keen on subscription. His son has had a lot of trouble. Someone's got an echo. That's gone. So he's had a lot of trouble with subscriptions. So I can see why people would want to get them from the newsagents. He also says Ghostbusters. Yeah, we're always going on about Ghostbusters, and we love it, don't we?
Yeah.
It looks fantastic. Yeah, love Model Space's build videos. I think they're quite funny. I like the end ones on the Millennium Falcon where he's gluing bits on. He doesn't actually glue them. He just gets the glue and he just waves it over the top. It's so obviously not gluing them. It's actually quite funny. So yeah, 3D, right, 3D printer came in parts. Yeah, I'll be honest with you, when you bought that, Chris, I did try to say there were cheaper ones out there. And you had have you any closer to getting that 3D printer sorted? Because I think when that came out, it was good because when you get brand new tech, it's going to be expensive. So for £1,200 spread over 2 years, it was probably a good deal. It was never going to be as good as the top printers, but at the time, the top printers were probably £5,000. So it probably was a good printer. But obviously, now you've got the Chinese copies, and the Chinese clones are very good. So, like, I mean, I've just found a cop. Now, the CR10, my original big printer, is actually a Chinese clone, but I've now found a clone of that for £120.
Oh,
So I can now get a big printer for cheaper than my little ones. So this is how it's going. I will be getting one, but probably not till after Christmas. I'm not in a position. Obviously, I bought the eBay printer, and at the time I was in a position to go, it doesn't work and it's cost me 65 quid. Oh dear, that's not the end of the world. I'm not yet in a position to go 120 quid. Oh, it hasn't worked. Oh, I've lost it. But obviously, if it works, then it's a really good investment. But this Chinese clone of the Chinese clone of my big printer, it looks like it uses all the same parts. So absolute worst case scenario is that it won't work. I'll strip all the bits off. I'll go and buy replacements. And for about £100, I'll have it up and running and working. And it will still be cheaper than the original. So it's just a case of, if you've got all that aggravation, I wouldn't consider it suitable for brand new 3D printer user. But the Ender 3, definitely. You follow the instructions, you build it. You can have a print. You can receive it from the postman. You can have a nice little print finished within about 6 or 7 hours. So, right, probably Ghostbusters. They were going ridiculously cheap. Haven't had a chance to look at it. Is the MiG-29 metal or plastic parts? I don't think anybody knows, Matthew, but I would certainly hope there's some metal parts in there, because they add the strength and they also add the quality, don't they? I'm under the impression die cast looks more expensive than it actually is. So if you chuck a few metal parts, it makes the customer happy, but the publisher hasn't cost a lot to produce them. So it's a win-win then, isn't it?
yeah.
So, right. Matthew Bourne, we've seen something about the Spitfire. The Spitfire was on test. Someone mentioned something about it coming out. Did they say August?
I think we did.
Right. I'm sure someone said August.
Because we want to try out in August, and it takes basically about a year to actually decide to do it or not.
I know I said that from what I've seen, it takes 9 to 12 months to go from test to full production.
Yeah.
So on that basis, I would say that the Spitfire would be out sometime after June, but there's no actual evidence to back that up. That's just me saying in my experience. But I think then someone in the comments said something about August. So I'd be happy with August. I'd be very happy with August, actually. We'll have finished the Routemaster. We'll have had a little bit of a break from the Routemaster.
Well, Routemaster finishes in the shops in August.
Oh, right. So, yeah, that'd be brilliant then. So it'll actually come out straight after the Routemaster.
If we have a week or two of break, basically, as they do issue 1 for like 2 weeks, so it could be the last week in August.
Right. So here's a dilemma for you, Dave.
Yeah.
You're not in a position to do the Spitfire and the Route Master. What if the Spitfire came out, say, a couple of months before the Route Master finished? Would you perhaps have bread and butter for your Sunday dinner for a couple of weeks just to make sure you get it? or would you just go, sorry, I can't afford it. I'll switch in 8 weeks.
Yeah, I probably would have bread and butter. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. What you could do is you could have bread and butter for your dinner while watching Bisto adverts. You give the illusion that you've got a nice gravy meal.
They seem to be doing a lot of this. The first 7 or 8 issues bi-weekly, isn't they? And then
Yeah.
it goes monthly, then, doesn't it? You know what I mean? So
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I mean,
I'm actually putting myself in a dangerous position because I'm going to be doing the Ecto 1, which apparently is starting in January. I can't really afford it until April. So I think I'm going to find myself working a 6-day week every week for about 3 months just to get that. But once April hits, once the Millennium Falcon finishes and the Harley and my tax code resorts back to normal, I will feel so wealthy. I'm having to work hard to pay the bills, but the bills get paid. Suddenly, when those bills are no longer due, you really feel so much wealthier, don't you? So
You might find if it's comes under Eaglemoss diecasts, you can start any month.
yeah, but I don't want to, Adrian. I want to start the first month. I want my issue when everyone else gets it.
the Ecto 1 is 141, isn't it? Issues, isn't it?
Oh, it's something like that, and there's always a chance they could extend it.
But it's an odd number, isn't it? 141.
Oh, it's 141. I thought it was 140 or 130.
No, it's 141.
Odd
number, isn't it?
I had a thought the other day. They've actually brought out as a separate collection the Ghostbusters figures. They're not compatible with the Ecto 1 build, but I wonder, but they are actually quite expensive. And I was kind of dabbling with the idea of collecting them. And I thought, if you position your car and your figures correctly, they could look from a distance, like if you get, it's like the TARDIS thing, isn't it? If you hold something like you see this one is, this gap there is smaller, but if you hold it, like that, you see how they now look the same.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I wonder if I got the figures, if I put them next to the Ecto 1, it's going to look like that. But if I do you see, if you position the figures, but then I'm thinking Route Master comes with figures. So do you think the Ecto 1 might come with some figures? Yeah. There you
it's
go.
different publishing company. You find it might not.
Yeah. But that publishing company does do figure collections.
Yes.
Yeah.
However, so let me actually find.
But if they was going to do figures, I'm sure they would have done them for the DeLorean by now, wouldn't they? They would have done at least a Marty McFly and a Doc.
Right.
Yeah.
yeah, that's true.
Even if they came in extended issues, basically, then
Yeah, but how can they extend it again? Because they're coming up to the end of that shortly now, isn't it? 151. There's 9 issues left, is there?
probably 9 issues.
9.
They extended it 30 issues or something silly like that.
Yeah.
didn't they?
30 issues, yeah, sorry, yeah.
Well, their 3D printer, they did it out so many issues, then they extended that for the toolkit.
Just got to hope that they don't extend the route mask.
I can't see them doing that, can they?
No, I don't think Harshette would end up doing that sort of.
I can't.
If it is, it will be the first time if they've ever done that.
I can't find these figures anymore.
Oh, come on, it's going off.
Right, okay, so let's do a search on them. Right, okay, they've disappeared. I received an email about a month or so ago about these figures, but I can't find them. Now they're about 18 quid a figure, whereas the Ecto one is going to be about a tenner a magazine. So are they going to do figures twice the size for half the price? So you're either going to be losing detail, and I'm a bit funny with the figures. I bought the is it Marvel or DC, one of the ones, Spider-Man and Thor and that. And I really didn't get on with them because the paint quality, maybe that's because I paint myself. And I just thought they were quite poorly painted. Someone who can't paint at all might think they're really well painted, but I just didn't. And you don't do anything. You just open the packet and then stick them on the shelf. So you've got to really want them. I really want the Game of Thrones figures, but that's because I'm a massive Game of Thrones fan. So I don't know, but if they're selling like 1 to 24 scale figures for 18 quid, they're not going to put figures in the magazine 1 to 12 scale. Is it 1 to 12 scale, 1 to 6, whatever it is? But I know that the figures are about half the scale of the Ecto one, so they're not going to put. Obviously, if you have double half of whatever is the scale, the figures are going to be twice the size. So they're obviously going to cost more because there's more material. And I don't think you're going to get twice as much material for half the price. So I don't know. Oh, you've just found it. Oh, you found it. How did you find it and I couldn't? Because you're clever. Right, so can anyone remember what the scale of the Ecto one is?
1/8.
It is 1/8, is it? All right, bear with me a sec. If there's something strange in the neighborhood. Right, I am getting there. Right, so this is the Ghostbusters figurine collection. I don't know how many there are at the moment, but when I looked, there was 3. Right, there we go. So, they've gone down in price. There must be a sale on. Yeah, there's a sale on. So 17 quid. I don't know how many they're going to have, and they don't look like there's going to be. There you go. Let's look at issue 1. Raymond Stantz. So actually looks really, I think. The expression on it looks really, really good. Look at the folding on the legs. I think that looks really, really good. But these are 1 to 16 scale. They're 11.6 centimeters. Nothing actually on the actual stand, any information other than I think there's a logo or something. There we go. It says something about all right, copyright, all rights reserved. But it does have the name on his back, on his chest. But the expression on this looks really, really good. But it won't. So what scale? Sorry. Yeah, look.
Did you say the hectare was 1/8 scale?
Yeah.
So these are half the scale. So if these are £17 basic price, you're not going to get twice as well. It won't be twice as much material. It'll be four times as much, won't it? One to 6, 1 to 8, whatever. So you won't get 4 times the material for £6 less. So you either won't get figures or I think they'll be much lower quality. And if they do give us figures, I think I'd be rather disappointed. So it's probably a collection I don't want figures for. But then the figures, look how much the Routemaster figures have added to the Routemaster.
Yeah.
The Routemaster is fantastic, but those figures, I think they have brought it to life so much more. So Ghostbusters figures will add so much more because they are definitely part of Ghostbusters. I wonder if we get the secretary come out on the figurines. Yeah, that nutty, weird secretary woman.
Oh, yeah.
And you've got to have Slimer, haven't you?
Yeah.
So,
What about the other two? Sigourney Weaver and the guy, I can't remember.
do you know the only other thing I remember him in was some weird, is it Boston Legal or something like that? One of these weird lawyer programs.
I can't remember his name. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can't remember either. Guys, I'm just going to take a mini break. I will be back shortly. I will let, who should I pick on? Let's have Dave entertain us for a bit. I'll be back in a sec.
Thank you.
No worries, Dave. Anytime.
Well, I don't know what to talk about other than when is your next show on the Fiat, Jason?
Oh, good question. I'm hoping to try and get. Depends what day we get back to mine. So I'm hoping if we can try and get back to mine on weekend 15, 16, I think it is. If not, it'll definitely be the week after. Do you know what I mean? So we might have 2 packs of the Fiat to do by then. We don't know. Do you know what I mean? So
okay.
Same as the Renault 4. I should have issues 10 to about 12, 13, maybe 14 by then.
So quite a few issues to do then, all in.
Yeah, it will be. It'll be a bit of a catch up, but it's only a fact at the moment due to personal reasons. That there's a lot of things going on with Sean at the moment that I can't.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course.
I have to be here. So, Matthew, how's Sparkles? Sparkles is fine. She's just been a little diva and won't come out tonight. So, I think she's wanting more for appearance fees now. So, we're in negotiations at the moment. So, hopefully, she'll be back on the Routemaster show.
P40F20. Dave, have you gotten the issues 80 and 91 of the Routemaster yet? No, I haven't. I haven't got them yet. I have had an assurity from my news agents because we know them really well. I've had an assurity from my news agents that they will get them eventually. It's sort of stopping me in a way progressing with the Routemaster because, I like to build quite a few issues at a time, as you know. And so once I get them, then I'll be doing a big build and obviously I'll be documenting that on YouTube. I'll be giving you all a good update on what's happened. No, it's rather frustrating, but having said that, it's also the wrong time of year to be painting, and so there's so many things I can do. We have like a little back outhouse here that I was thinking about building a small spray pen in, with an old big cardboard box and a vacuum cleaner and all that sort of thing. So that would work, and it would keep me in the dry and the warm for spraying. So yeah, there's lots to think about. There's lots that I can do in the background, but until I get issues 80 and 91, no, I can't do an awful lot really. I've got all the issues up to date, including this week's issue, which was 93, I think.
Yeah.
93, I think this week. So I've got all the other issues up to date, apart from 80 and 91. So yeah, soon as I get them, I'll let you all know, and then we'll have a bit of an update.
Well, the offer is still there, Dave. If you want me to send you an issue 80 for my subscription copies, and then you can just replace it when you get yours. But if you're not actually going to be doing anything with them, then no. But
well, yeah, there's not an awful lot I can do really.
The only drawback is I can only send you one issue. Obviously, you two need two, don't you?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so yeah, it's not a gigantic problem. So I do know that I will get them, but there is other people that haven't got 80 or 91, and some people haven't got 92.
If it helps, P40 hasn't got 80 or 91 either.
Ah, right.
It's but his back issues have just started to come in.
Yeah.
I'm frustrated that 78 hasn't come in, because he's got 79, so at least then he could get on with 2 issues.
Yeah.
So I'm going to send him 8 issues, and he can't do anything with them because he hasn't got 78. So I'm frustrated at that, but it'll happen, and I think P40 is being very patient, and
yeah.
But I tell you what, I'm really keen on trying to sort of reach out for more people, and think of doing a subscription service.
Yeah.
This could potentially work out. People. I mean, we were looking for some issues last night, and there was one they wanted like 30 or 40 quid for it.
Yeah.
And I would just feel so rotten charging that. So
yeah, it's ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah, when the new partworks come out, I think I might chuck an advert on eBay and ask for like the cost of the subscription plus possibly 10 or 20 quid a month, and then a deposit to cover the cost of the postage, and then they pay me every month. So I'll make sort of a tenner on it, or 20 quid, maybe a tenner, just to cover my cost of buying a roll of tape and doing that. And then I won't be out, if anyone stops paying, I won't be out of pocket because I'm getting a deposit, and they'll get their issues cheaper. Yeah. How anyone can justify charging the prices they're charging. And some of them, I mean, I don't always see them selling, but I mean, I've seen issues on there for over 100 quid.
Yeah.
So I just know. But maybe I'm jealous because they're making good money on stuff and I'm not, So
it makes you laugh. You see some of these eBay sellers. It's the rare number of issues that we all need sometimes. They always seem to have like 10 copies of it. It's like, how the hell did you get 10? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Some inside information going off there somewhere, isn't they?
Yeah. I mean, I know. I mean, like with the Warhammer, people went out and they stripped the shelves but that was more for personal things, because the first issue came out for $1.99, and they gave away like 25 quid's worth of paints and models and things. So that was really, if you are collecting those, that was really worth doing.
Yeah.
I couldn't see someone, I don't know, maybe someone would build 10 Terminators or 10 buses, and then maybe they're looking at selling it. But that's a huge gamble, isn't it?
Oh, massive gamble.
I mean, over the course of 2.5 years, the bus is going to be 1,300 quid. You know, personally, I'd want to be selling them for, I don't know what, 2.5 grand to make a reasonable profit.
Yeah.
And then to sell 10 of them for 2.5 grand each. That's hoping, isn't it?
You're not going to do it.
I don't know. They might do, but if you sell it to an overseas buyer, then the shipping on that would be astronomical.
Yeah.
So
I've got sitting at home. I keep being put on eBay or on Facebook. I've got the Ghostbusters issue number 2, but the test issue sitting at home gathering dust. So if anyone wants that, just let me know. So
yeah. So Matthew, I'd get the Mustang from Model Space monthly editions. I would be interested in knowing how that goes. It's not. It's what I would call a semi-interest. You know, if I get a little bit further down the line and I finish lots of part works and then I'm looking at the older part works that weren't as interesting, the Mustang is perhaps something I would think about. But there's many more models than I would prefer to do, and that's personal taste. It's not because it's a good or a bad model, but obviously if I get wind of a model that's not good, then you know I would really love to do the DeLorean, but I've heard so much bad about it. I won't touch it if you paid me. Well, I might do if you paid me to do it, but I wouldn't chuck my own money into it. So
there's so many nice part works around Europe at the moment. I just wish I'd bring some to the UK. You know what I mean?
I wish I had more money a year ago, because there was a French part work for the F-14 Tomcat, and if the F-14 Tomcat came out anywhere, I would do whatever I can to get that, because that is my most favourite aeroplane in the world ever. I absolutely love it. But I might actually buy a plastic kit for it. But that's more a personal thing. One of the things I'm looking at for the DC-3, the electronics, it looks like the only electronics you get are the wing lights and the tail lights. So I'm wondering if perhaps I can do a little bit more with it. Maybe use some of those SMD lights and maybe put individual cabin lights in. Wiring it.
Do the engines work on it? Do the engines?
I don't know. It's got propellers that go round, but there doesn't appear to be anything. I haven't studied the instructions, and I will study them more detail once I get them. Downloading PDFs from the internet and looking at them, it doesn't work so well for me. But what I can do, when I get the actual box, I can pull out all the instructions. I'll chuck them in the work bag, and then when I get like a 2-hour break or something at work, where sometimes I get very lucky and I might sit there for 3 or 4 hours on standby. Other times I get just a bare half an hour break and I'm shoveling food down my neck. But if I chuck them in the work bag, I can just pick them up and put them down.
Yeah.
And I'll study them in more detail then. But I cannot confirm there's motors for but see, then maybe that's because it's wooden. They can easily be cut away to make space for them.
Yeah.
So maybe I should have bought 2 DC-3s and gone completely bankrupt. One to stock and one to play about with. But I think SMDs are definitely, those little tiny ones, I think they're definitely a possibility.
Yeah.
and I'm feeling good. When we talked the other day about you wanted to do a C47, and I think I've got that as a backup plan because
Yeah.
if I muck that aluminium foil up,
Yeah.
I think I might be able to do is get some really thin cloth and glue that over the top and then paint it.
Yeah.
And that would come out C47y looking.
Yeah. Well, the secret to that is brown paper
Right.
and PVA glue.
Yeah. I mean, I won't just jump straight in and do it. And I'll make sure my worktop is absolutely 100% adequate for it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to go.
You know, cotton gloves, maybe. You know, when you're doing the metal, you know,
Yeah, you probably.
Yeah.
on the aluminium, do you?
Yeah.
No.
I'm guessing it's going to be, in effect, it's going to be tin foil, isn't it?
Yeah. If you bend it over much, you're going to stretch it.
Yeah.
And that's then not going to be able to be re-stretched back again.
Yeah.
Because aluminium is known for that.
Right. I think it's going to be tight, but not too tight.
Yeah.
Taut rather than
Yeah.
tight.
Yeah.
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 So P40 is telling me that the best plastic model is the F14, is the Tamiya one. I cannot disagree with that. I had a really nice one when I was a kid. But the trouble is, when I was a kid, good kits were actually wasted on me because I wasn't even a tenth of the painter I am now back then. Brush marks were very common. It's a shame because I did US Navy when I was a kid, and a lot of the paint schemes were white bottom, grey top, or was it the other way around? And I could not paint white to save my life. And now I know how to paint white. I can paint a good white with a paintbrush, but I can also do it with the airbrush. And the secret is to really, really thin your whites. You don't get good coverage, but you have to build it up. Well,
Yeah.
when I did that bus, which I no longer have, I accidentally painted the insides. Well, I painted the insides cream. I didn't quite see the instructions properly, and then later figured out it should have been white. And it was kind of the creamy was kind of a biscuit, rich tea, tobacco color. So it wasn't a dark cream, and that took over 5 coats of white, and it was still a little bit off white. That's how thin. But the coverage was beautiful. It was absolutely perfect. But it was literally like, you know, when you clean your brush, if you paint like white, you whitewash or something, and then you clean your brushes out and it makes the water goes white. That's kind of how you want your paint consistency.
Yeah.
So thin.
Yeah.
Right. 2 others been tested. Iron Man. Now that Iron Man looks pretty good. World of Wayne was doing it. The lunar module. Not sure. Well, the problem I've got with the lunar module is I might like to do it, but I'm going to have to show you now, aren't I? I found the Saturn V rocket in 3D print file. And
I think the lunar module, they've missed the time on that, haven't they, really, since this year, isn't it? You know, to tie it in with anything, if you know what I mean.
So this is something that I found, and if anybody asks me to build it for them, the answer is a resounding no. Or were they overall grey? I thought there were some that were white. Oh yeah, because they changed the colour scheme around about the 80s, didn't they? But the early ones would have been white and grey. So I talked about the right. So let's have a look at this. I'm going to love this. The only thing I will say, you must look at the background pictures to get a sense of the scale. It's 1:60 scale space rocket. And if you're like me, that means absolutely nothing, because I've not seen up close, but that is, oh, that don't help, does it? Yeah, that's probably even worse. Yeah, I'll tell you what, let's make that bigger. Let's make the page bigger. Right. So that is the 3D print version of a Saturn V. And that rocket is 6 foot tall. And the gantry is 7.5 foot tall. But you do get the individual pieces with it. So I think you do get a lunar landing module. So rather than going out and spending $8.99 an issue on a 1 to millionth scale, you can see there I could print my own for a lot less and a lot bigger. So I think you get that module in the middle. So you do actually, and there's remixes of this as well. So let's see if I can find the remixes. But it's 2,000 hours to print this and £450 worth of filament. So it's not a little project. There you go. Lunar. Oh, there has got one. There we go. So, you know, why buy it when I could make it? So I think that's quite an adequate little model. I wonder if you get the base with it. Yeah, you even get the base with it. So, you know, for me, because I've got a 3D printer, I probably wouldn't be interested in getting the Apollo 11. There you go. There's another remix from the 5. This is actually really nice. Rather than having it upright, have it sideways. Takes up more room, but it's a lot more presentable, isn't it? Because you've got it in pieces. Yeah. So,
well, if you've got the space now, then right, okay, either you can show it like that for a while.
Yeah.
Then next time, standing up, Mike.
He
probably didn't have the ceiling height to do it.
No, he might have just wanted to, because obviously if you're having it upright, you're not going to be able to see the bits separated. This shows off the separations, because obviously I don't know a lot about space rockets, but I know that at various stages of the launch, bits of this break off, and then only a small part of this actually comes back to Earth, and that's right at the top, isn't it? This bit.
Yes.
This bit here, and that's where the 3 or 4, how many astronauts are in there. So all of
3
this,
astronauts.
Yeah, all of this bit there, that's only really to do with the launch, because obviously to propel something that big fast enough to break through the atmosphere, I guess it's going to use a gallon or 2 of fuel.
Yeah, just a bit.
Yeah.
So, bear in mind, a lot of these American homes are very open plan, aren't they? And very spacious. So to put something like a 7-foot Saturn V in the corner, probably
But no, I'm all right. I'm on the council waiting housing list with my 15 made up children. So I should get a 10-bedroom house eventually. So, in which just got to hope they don't come round to visit the children.
Don't tell me what the true name is. Probably Fleetwood. This
is my eldest child. I call her Saturn. This is my next child, which I call Routemaster, and this child is called Harley. So there you go. Everyone's showing that they've got a lot more knowledge on spaceships than me, but this is another reason why I like building stuff. I end up learning about them. So, but yeah, that's why I wouldn't do the Apollo 11, because why would I need to when I can I mean, I'd say I worked out actually if I had 6 printers running 20 hours a day, it would take 16 days to print all of the parts.
Good God.
Yeah.
But you would need a supply of filament, though, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Well,
it
actually has a list of the part of the how much of each color, and you need 45 pounds of filament. Is about £2 to a kilo, £20 a kilo, so it's about £10 a pound. So 45 pounds of kilo of filament is about 450 quid. Hell of a project to print off and build. But I would probably want to print that in super brilliant mode. And then but I watched a video actually of a guy building it, and he's had all the decals made and everything. And there's not that much in the way of decals actually. There's a great big United States of America and a couple of flags and a few letters, and the rest is painted. But obviously, once you get into painting 3D printed parts, you got to sand them and cool. How many cans of filler do you think that would filler primer that would need?
A lot.
So,
how do these 3D printers go on electric then? Are they very dear to run? Or
I worked out that the Ender 3 I looked at money saving whatever it is .com-y thing, whatever, and it said how much the average cost of electric is, and it works out that it's about 5 to 8p an hour to run a printer.
yeah.
But it really depends on the efficiency of the printers, because the majority of your cost is actually coming from heating the hotbed.
Yeah.
And if you've got good insulation, it keeps that heat in. So it doesn't, if you've got poor insulation, it's going to be constantly heating it to keep it at 50 or 60 degrees. If you've got good filament, a good bed, maybe using something like masking tape, you can get away with not heating the hotbed. So that will bring the cost down. But the hot end as well, the cost really is in heating something. Once it heats, it stops heating. It's basically a thermostat.
Yeah.
So once it starts to cool down, it reheats it.
Yeah.
So if you've got good, like you put a little thermal sock on the hot end, that helps keep the heat in.
Yeah.
Stronger, better power supplies heats everything up quicker.
Yeah.
So it's all, but it's roughly about 5-10p an hour, which I don't think is, well, I don't know. I've got to be honest with you, I am completely out of touch with electric bills because I've not had to pay. But if you're running it for 20 hours a day, it's about £1 a day to run it.
Yeah.
Which I don't think is awful. It is quite a lot, but it's, cheaper. Well, it's definitely cheaper. See, also, my heaters, I don't tend to have my heaters on so much because you got to remember I've got 2 60-degree heaters in the corner.
Yeah.
So that obviously heats the room up. So I'm saving a little bit on the cost of the heating, but spending more on the printing. So and if you've got them I'm lucky I've got them in a bedroom, so it's not like I'm heating one room up and then heating another room up.
Yeah.
So £7 a week. I mean, I don't know what's the average electric bill these days. 20 quid.
Well, we sometimes use 30 quid a week, even more sometimes. Yeah, depends.
£1 a day. So
we're all, it depends on what you're using. Washers, dryers. You know,
Yeah.
Obviously, that's less in the summer because you can hang your clothes out to dry.
Yeah.
You know,
I heard a really funny story the other day. There was a lady that got a £20,000 bill from her electric company.
yeah.
It all got sorted out in the end, but it is quite funny. She had an estimated bill, which was £600. So she went, oh, that's a bit expensive. And they said, well, that's all right. It was only an estimated bill based on some usage. And I can relate to this because one place I used to live at, the only appliance I had that was gas was my cooker. So I used to use like 1 unit a week, and they couldn't believe I used so little gas. So they used to send me estimated bills, and my estimated bills come out about 60 quid. So when I gave them an actual reading, that would bring the cost down to about £5 for the quarter. Anyway, so she sent the actual reading, which would have brought the bill down to about 250 quid. But what had happened, because her reading was so much lower than the estimated reading, the computer system had assumed that it actually gone all the way around the clock back to zero, back up again.
Oh my God!
That's why I issued a bill of £20,000, and she was actually preparing to face bankruptcy. But yeah, it was all sorted in the end. And I think everyone's laughing about it now. But at the time, can you imagine she checked her account online, and it had gone from £600 to £20,000.
Good God!
That reminds me where I used to live in Bedford. I lived in a flat there, and the land was owned by Network Rail. And the utilities that was brought in by E.ON, the private company could then charge what they like per unit for gas and electric.
Yeah.
Because this private company went bust, every week, or even 2 weeks, 2 days into the week, we'll get an email saying, "Oh, your electric's gone up by 8 pence this week. From today." Then say Wednesday, "Oh, it's gone up by 50 pence a unit," and it was getting so much. I mean, I was getting to a stage of like the electric would be like £60 a fortnight.
Oh my God!
And then the gas, they said, "Oh, that's £80 a fortnight." Oh, then you've got your water, which is £120 a month. How on earth can you start charging it? And it got so silly. When I left in 2017, I mean, the electric was like, you could put £5 in, and you could sit there and see it going down like a taxi meter.
Oh my God!
It was going down literally a rate of like 30 pence every 30 seconds.
Are there laws about how much they can put things up by?
No, well, there is, but because it was a private company, that was the way around it.
Yeah.
The private company could set whatever fees they would like for your utilities. You got to bear in mind there was like 340 flats on this particular site. So at the end of the day, they were absolutely coining it to the point of like, it was ridiculous. And I said to Sean before I left and moved up to Fleetwood, I said, if this carries on, I'll just be telling them to rip the meters out, and I'll live by candlelight and thermal blankets, because it was just getting absolute madness. I mean, but where I am now in Fleetwood, it's not too bad on the gas and electric, you know what I mean?
I did like the little system I had at my little house in Norwich, because they used to send me estimated bills 3 times a year, but they used to overestimate the bill, and it wasn't massively overestimated, but they told me they must, apparently that by law or something, they must have 1 accurate bill a year. The other 3 they can estimate. They like to send someone out regularly, but obviously, if they haven't got the staff to do it. And I said, well, I'm happy with 3 estimated bills. and then I'll ring through the actual reading. And what I used to do in the summertime, the bills were estimated, so I was paying a lot more. Well, I say a lot more. I was paying like, I can't remember what I was paying now, but let's say I was paying £300 a quarter for my bill. I don't know. I have actually no idea what the electric bills cost, but let's say I was paying 300 quid. And then because I had then provided an accurate reading, my big usage wintertime bill might only be 200 quid because I perhaps paid 50 to £100 more on the 3 previous bills.
Yeah.
So my bill is actually like £400, but I might have overpaid 200. And that worked all right for me. And I did the same with my little caravan when I had a static caravan. It was the heat. It was these halogen heaters that used most of the bill. And in the summertime, I was putting £10 a week on the electric, and I was using perhaps £5 or £4 a week, but I was still putting £10 on.
Yeah.
And then when it came to the winter time, and suddenly my bills were going up to £20-25 a week, I had all that built up money on the meters.
Yeah.
I wasn't actually putting serious money on until perhaps the end of the winter, and then suddenly the spring had come and you wouldn't have things on. And of course you've also got other tricks like go and do a bit of overtime. You don't put your heating on then, do you?
Yeah.
I never have my heating on when I'm working because I'm always worried about these have got a safety feature where if they fall over they'll switch off.
Yeah.
But they'll still be hot for a while.
Yeah.
I've seen what cigarettes can do in beds. So
Yeah.
I want hot. I don't know. Maybe I'm overdoing it with the. I need to tell you guys about something. It's one thing I hadn't budgeted into the spreadsheet. Couple of weeks ago, I was watching a video. It was one of these videos I watch if I've got nothing else to watch, and it was 10 things not to do with a lipo battery. And
I watch that one. It scares the crap out of you.
Right. I don't think we need to be scared of lipo batteries. I think if handled correctly, they are very safe, especially when they're new. But I've learned an awful lot. But there's a very good precaution, and this costs me. You can pick these up for between about £8 and £20 or even more money. And this is going to sound scarier than it actually is. This is an explosion-proof bag. And I would advise people looking one up and buying one. Some of you might have thought of this. But I'm going to redo this wire so it's longer. So when I charge the battery, I will put the battery into the bag like that, and then I will zip it up. So it's like that. So this end will come out to the charger, and then if anything should happen, I don't want to test this. I don't want to know how good this actually is, but I've seen the explosions on camera of some of the batteries. So my battery now lives in this bag. But I did see one of the things not to do is to throw it in the normal landfill bin. And this, someone had obviously thrown one in the bin. There was a CCTV. The bin man had emptied the bin into the lorry, and obviously the lorry compresses all the rubbish, doesn't it?
Yeah.
As it compresses it, it caused the battery, one single battery, to explode, and it actually shot the binman about 30 foot across the road.
Yeah.
And that's quite scary stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I didn't budget for it, but I would advise you. I mean, I think the final project is based on a £15 a week. Based on a £15 a week budget, we will end up £154 under budget. So, you know, you could go out and buy yourself a really, really good one and still be within a £15 a week budget average. I saw a really good one. It's called Bat Safe, and it's a tin, and it's got a special hole in it for your wires to come out. And I think this is actually bomb proof, but it's about 157 quid. But it's the ultimate. Basically, what I want is, if it should explode and it does damage to the room, fair enough. What I don't want is to come home to find my room has disappeared. You know, if there's a big scorch in the carpet, then I'll go, oh no, disaster, my battery has exploded. But if the room has just gone, that would be an actual, my life is ruined, especially if my bus gets affected as well. I would cry. I think that would be understatement of the year. So
what say you watch that video, it's quite an eye-opener. Okay, what they show in the video is obviously extreme, you know, things that possibly could happen.
Yes, they are showing extremes, but one thing I did like was one guy, he'd built a box in his basement.
Yeah.
And what he'd done is he drilled a hole into the concrete, surrounded it with breeze blocks.
Yeah.
And it actually goes into there. And he's got like a patio slab or something that goes over the top. And then he can push something heavy over it. So obviously concrete is a very good container for flammables, isn't it?
Yeah.
And by cementing breeze blocks in, that's got to be really good. But unfortunately, I don't have that luxury. But I don't know, if my landlord comes up with this shed, maybe I could bury something like that in the back garden and then charge all my batteries in the shed. So just bear with me. I'm doing a...
Sound's gone.
Sound's gone.
Yeah, sounds like her sound's gone.
Yeah.
She knowledge.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, you're back.
I'm back. Yeah. It's funny. I left this print going. It's started this one. I'll tell you how long it is. It's 10% done, and it's been 16 and a half hours so far. I think it's 5 days and something hours.
Blimey.
6 days, 3 hours and 14 minutes. It's baby Groot, but it's 240 millimeters tall.
Wow.
So,
Blimey.
And how many times do you have to change your filament?
none. No, it takes a quarter of a roll of filament. Just don't tell Fleetwood I've stolen his filament.
What?
No, it's that wood filament.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
So it's not really a wood filament, it's wood colored.
Okay.
But it's big. The hands are this wide. So it's probably actually, with it being a baby Groot, it might not be far off 1-to-1 scale. But I'd love to get the CR10 done and then reprint it. I put it at a 45-degree angle and made it as big as it will fit on the print bed. And this will be my longest print ever. It will probably be the longest print I ever do. 5 days.
I just thought with your electronic sim, you could put a little mag switch underneath it, so someone picks it up, makes a sound.
Yes. Yeah, I could do that. You could do a light sense. I'm actually working on this. This is the barrier I'm doing. This is for my boss at work. And I'm going to write a naughty word on there that ends in off, because she had trouble with drivers coming in and hassling her. So I just thought that maybe she could just have the barrier like this and she could just press the button and it just comes down and go away. I've got to redo this servo wire. And I've seen a thing online about how to re-solder and rewire this servo, and then hook it up to 2 buttons. So I thought that I might just put 2 simple buttons, or maybe I might just cheat and put a 3-way switch in, so she can have it off, up or down. So, but this is just for me to play with. I'm just trying new things. But it's this was an hour and a half print, and the black bit was about 2.5 hour print, and it's just the black bit. It's just it's a box, a backing plate, the servo screws in there. This plate goes on, which I know we are. Just thread that through there, push that on there. I've had to file it down a little bit to make it fit, and then you got the little base, and it's actually got screw holes going down, so you can screw this to something, and then you put that on there, and there it is. And I thought maybe actually this could perhaps look good with the diorama. Might be able to sort of make it look older, and maybe because that looks a bit like a World War II type barrier, isn't it? An old style barrier. Make it bigger or smaller, but you wouldn't have it. Obviously wouldn't have it electronic like that. Or maybe a hospital car park, something that doesn't allow vehicles that are too tall. Is there anything? So vans might get in there, but nothing bigger than a van. And that way nothing can get in, and only smaller. I don't know, but it's just a bit of fun. And 2 other things that I need to get these on the stream before New Year's Day, I think, because of the new copy rules. I bought this in Debenhams. This was £35 reduced to 21, and I've had a little look at the components, and I could probably make this, print it off, and buy the parts for about £20. So this is actually not a bad little purchase, but it's got a follow me mode and an explore mode. This one I'm partially disappointed with, because I thought it was electronics, but it's not. It's hydraulics, and it's a robot arm, and it's you fill bits up with water, but there's a hell of a lot of it's only got a maximum lift of 50 grams. Oh, it's got a choice of a suction or a claw. But to give you an idea of it, there's the instruction manual, and these are the parts. So, but this one was £45 reduced to 27. I wouldn't have bought either of these if they weren't in the sale. But that £21 robot, I think that's probably worth it. Are you going to show us something, Fleetwood?
No, I was going to say it's my birthday soon, and Sean bought me a model kit. I'm no good at doing glues and that sort of thing, so she bought me one of these easy kits, and it's
oh, that's cool.
It's lovely, yeah.
That's cool. Which is that our tractor? Is that our tractor?
No.
What sort of tractor is it?
It's a Dewitt's a D30.
Okay.
And there's another one as well. That's, hang on.
Porsche.
Oh, that's nice.
Porsche tractor, yeah.
What? I didn't know Porsche made tractors.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are all clipped together kits, so they're not glued. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, yeah, snap fit.
Snap fit,
Not
yeah.
always the best fit, but they're usually pretty good.
Yeah.
A couple other little things I've bought. This came last week, so I have assembled it. Oh no! Chains, they knot easily, don't they?
Yeah.
So
Quick,
not sure if this is going to be any good, but this is a hook on a chain.
No,
But I thought worst case scenario, I could turn it into a necklace. Oh, that's cold. That's really cold. So yeah, the little hooks on the end, and you've got some bolt down bits to hook the hook. See, these are actually two separate bits. So the hook, I don't know what we do with these, but they'll hook.
They'll be all right. You know, like on the dump trailer, you could put them in the inside, and then you tie a trailer down. What I was thinking was, if you could, well, when you got time, maybe, or whatever, is to print, you know, the baby tractor.
Yes.
Put that on the back, and then bolt that down.
Yeah, that would work. I've also got a winch. I'm a little bit, probably my own fault actually, but it didn't come out quite as the picture. But if you read the description, it actually is spot on. I'm just trying to find it.
Yeah, the model kits quickly were £14 each.
Yeah, oh, they could be quite good. I still got to put my little moped together, haven't I? Right, let's see if I can find these. Oh yeah, I got that to show you. I got a fire extinguisher, but it keeps disappearing. It's not massive, and on a desk like mine. Right, so this is what I've ordered, and I suppose now looking at the price, that's a bit optimistic. So there's a winch kit, but I thought you got all of this with it, but you don't. You just get that with it.
Ah, right.
So I've got to find all the servo, but that's obviously not a normal servo, because the servos only operate 180 degrees. So that's obviously going to be some kind of 360-degree servo. But I thought that could look pretty cool on the front or possibly the back of the tractor. So that is, and when I look at the description a little bit better, you can see that is what you get. There you go. That's what you get. So I'm just looking at the parts. I'm not sure about that bit in the middle of the, but yeah, you do get that. But I've just got to, you got to assemble it, but you see this gold bit and the servo. So I've got to figure out how to put them together. And I'm gonna find this. I know it's on my desk somewhere. Here it is. Because I think every responsible farmer should have one. A fire extinguisher.
What, 1 to 10 scale?
1 to 10 scale.
Yeah.
Yeah. That only cost me a couple of quid. And it's even got instructions on it how to use it. Look. So you pick it up, you push the handle, you aim it at the fire, and it looks like he's aiming at the base of the fire, not the middle. And yeah, so, and it's got a little bracket to hold it on, so you can pull it off and go. So when your fire engine with a winch would be cool. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that's little things I bought. I've got the Fleetwood J bug.
I found my counterweight possibly for the front. Yeah.
Wow.
Nice. I haven't done.
It comes as a set of 3, Penny.
Pardon?
Comes as a set of 3.
So are they actual boxes or are they?
Yeah, really heavy duty boxes.
Right. Lovely.
Yeah.
See, I put my sandwiches in there, make sure no one else can get them.
And so that's our play.
Right, guys. So I think we've spoken about as much as we
I
can.
was going to say I'm going to have to nip off and go make a phone call. So
Yeah, unless anyone's got anything else to add or anyone's got any questions.
no.
So yeah, so okay, guys. So I am going to end the stream. So next week we are going to add the servo and the servo holder, and we've got a couple of servo arms. The servo arms will come down the bottom. We'll spend a bit of time doing the steering arms. That's going to take most of the time. We'll get them as accurate as we can, but they'll only be accurate by eye. And then we'll get those attached, and then that will add a little bit. And then the week after, nice simple issue. We'll just put the front grid on. We'll put the light socket in, bracket in, and the LEDs. We won't hook the LEDs up. But I think from next week we'll have a little servo we can play with. So Adrian will be able to get rid of 3 of his servos. He's got a big bag of servos at the moment because he's building. He's got what, 2?
Yeah.
The tractor needs. Right, you need
3.
2 for the trailer, 3 for each tractor. So 3 trailers, that's 9. It's 11 servos he's got. So he'll be able to get rid of another 3. But yeah, so we'll add a little bit to that. And then obviously next month, we will come away from the tractor. And we will do something else. But have a look at this, guys. Right, we've only been doing this 7 weeks. Oh, yeah, I've got a bonus to show you as well. So in 7 weeks, this is our pile of parts that we have assembled.
Wow.
So we have actually done all right, I think. So that's 1 week. That's 3 weeks. That's 3 weeks. And obviously we've got the jacks. But I want to show you this. I have been working on the IBC container. I did do a rough draft print with grey box until Adrian was able to send me some filament. And what I've done is we've got this. I'm gonna nick the full screen.
Yeah.
So this is an IBC container. I don't know what IBC stands for, but it's obviously got something to do with liquids.
Yeah.
All I really know about them is they have a cage, and I assume because water is very heavy when there's a lot of it, isn't there? And this is a 1,000-litre container. It comes in 3 bits. You've got the pallet, and you see there's a couple of little, I don't know if you can see them, there's a couple of little notches on there.
Yeah.
And then obviously on the same print, I've printed this black nozzle there, which is hard to remove. And this cap is actually a screw cap. So that's printed on the black bit. The next print I did with it was this cage. And this was absolutely beautiful, but I did it with supports, and each of these was filled in with a little square, and you just have to push every single square out. And that square's got little holes in the bottom. I did have to re-drill those holes to make them fit. And it is quite an awkward fit, but it's a very tight fit. And
So did you actually print that upside down or correct way up?
Right, I printed this like this with supports, and that was an absolute nightmare to remove the supports because these bits going through the middle. But that is an exact match for the trailer, for the tractor.
So it's an idea to try it without supports and see what happens.
I wouldn't even attempt it because you can see that that's not going to work, is it?
Right, okay, yeah.
And it does say on the instructions to use them. So this cage, you got to line up the notches once you get them in. And I've drilled those holes just the right size that it's a struggle to get them in. but once you get them in, they are actually quite hard to pull out. So bear with me a sec, guys. There we go. So that cage is in there. And then what I did is I did a filament change part way through. So I switched from blue to clear, and that's got ironing on the top as well. So it is actually really smooth. I'm not sure about it. It is a very good. You can see all the support inside. I tried to minimize the support. If I hadn't put any support at all in, you can see that probably would have failed. That would have looked a mess. But that's about 5% support, concentric, so you don't get the crisscross. But I really, really like that. It's I've got another filament I got on a sample, and it's a blue color, and I shouldn't. Oh God, I'm gonna have to take this bit off now. The sample that I've got is it's a much lighter blue. It's more of a blue tinge, but that could be. Obviously that's not water in there, as it's something like antifreeze or something. But you could use any clear filament that you want. Red, perhaps. Red could perhaps be diesel. Is that how a farmer would store his diesel?
No, it wouldn't.
Right.
An IBC is an intermediate bulk container.
Ah, so it's going from A to C. This is B.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Because we have tubs of this, containers like this at work that contain AdBlue.
Yeah.
But I don't suppose. So would this be delivered like this, and then you'd fill your watering can up or whatever with it, and then use the watering can?
You fill a sprayer up with it.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
But
Right,
this.
I've got to dash off, sorry. So I'll try and catch you on the route.
Yeah, no worries. I'm going to finish the show soon anyway. Bear with me a sec. My printer's making some horrible noises. Having said that, it's been running for 16 hours, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with the print. In fact, it's actually quite beautiful. So anyway, yeah. So, but I like it. So I might make a few more, and I'll put the filament changing at different levels. So if you want to suggest some colours to use, Dave.
Yeah, well, blue or red would be great. Yeah.
Yellow, perhaps. Maybe do a brown one for.
You could do yellow. Yeah, you could do yellow. Some sprays are a tinge of yellow.
Right. So.
You can only store diesel in it if you have it over a container underneath, which you can take. If it leaks,
Right.
it'll run into. As long as that container is bigger.
I would imagine if you're buying diesel like that, your tractor's not the only thing you're going to be using the diesel with.
Yeah.
And you would probably have a proper diesel pump, wouldn't you?
You have to have a proper bonded tank now.
Yeah. See, at work, we've got a proper. It's like a one pump petrol station.
Yeah.
We'll get a tanker come in every now and again. And
Yeah.
we'll fill that up. But obviously we're filling up how many buses we've got every single night. Sorry, I meant to have all of us, not just me. So yeah, obviously that's. But if if I was running a farm with a few tractors and a combine harvester and got sheeps and whatever. My sand dune buggy things or whatever, I'd probably have a small petrol pump or something.
Yeah.
So I guess. Right, Dave Mill might look at building the trumpet of Bismarck. Yeah. Yeah. There's a couple of. I'm looking at some of the plastic kits because I did see one of a Star Wars. I think it was the Empire Destroyer, And what he'd done is he'd put hundreds and hundreds of fiber optics in, and then all in the insides, and he had all the lights, and it actually looked like the lights were on. And that kind of got me interested in perhaps doing a ship, passenger sailing ship in small scale that have tiny windows. And what you do is you drill out all of the windows and then put a fiber optic in, so you could actually have an LED lighting up all the lights. So that's something I'm interested in trying out. So, but yeah, I'd be interested in seeing how that goes, Dave. And we'll try and get you on the show one day, Dave. Because I know you and the 2 days, I don't know if you saw them having a good old chin wag on his stream the other night. It just looks so natural, Dave. Two old guys in talking about their hobby.
Yeah, why not? Yeah. Yeah, Dave will come on the show if you sling him a link. He'll come on the show.
Yeah. So right, I'm now off work for the next 7 days. Well, let's call that 5 days, because I am spending a couple of days in Swansea. So hopefully I'll have built 4 packs of Jaguar and help someone with their bus. Not mentioning names, am I, Chris? So, Dave, I'll start on your tray tomorrow. I will actually allocate you a brand new piece of paper, fresh, brand, nothing written on it. So, Dave, there is your piece of paper that's sitting on the desk. Dave, Milne, trays. So you haven't sent me. Right. So Dave, you haven't sent me the dimensions. If you can give me the length and the width of the tray and how many sections you want in it. So, and then I'll get on with that. Take me probably about an hour to design it, and then however long to print it, probably 12 hours at the most. I'm fixing 2 printers tomorrow, hopefully 3. I'm building a fan case for a battery charger. So that's my day tomorrow taken up. Nice leisurely Sunday, and I'm putting shelves up, so that should be fun.
So when you're going to Chris's then, Penny?
I'm leaving Thursday morning. Yeah, I'm very anal when it comes to things, and I've written it all down somewhere. I should be leaving Newport at 6:08 in the morning, arriving in Neath at 7:31, and I'll get to Chris's at 8:45, and then I will be leaving his at 6 o'clock, and I'll get back to mine at I'll be back at mine about 9 o'clock. So that's the only trouble. It's a pain in the ass with the public transport.
Yeah.
He has an hourly bus service, and the train pulls in just after the bus has gone. So he lives, about 40-50 miles from me, but it takes best part of 3 hours to get to his.
Yeah.
So, but and I've got your RT badges to do as well, Dave.
Oh yeah.
I'll crack on with those. So
you mean Route Master badges?
Yeah, RT, whatever.
Route Master.
Yeah, I know. Sorry. So I'll download that file you've sent me. I'll get that sorted out for you.
Jolly good.
Do I owe anyone else any jobs?
Yeah, me.
Oh, you've got I've got your list of prints to do anyway.
Right.
So obviously your prints will get done after I've just refreshed my memory. You need piece 24 seat back done, and I think I wrote down the color. Don't tell me.
Orange and blue, I think I said.
It's a good job you told me, because I haven't written that down. Why have I not written that down? Oh, silver and blue.
Silver and blue there. Okay, yeah.
Right. And Adrian wants one done in silver.
No,
Yeah.
not in
And
silver.
then obviously
In
the
yellow.
console as well. One blue, one orange.
Oh yeah, back in silver and the seat in yellow.
So I've already done your yellow bit. So you do want the seat back done in silver,
Yeah.
Adrian. Right. Well, that's easy enough then, because you want a silver seat back and you want a silver seat back. So I will put 2 silver seat backs on the silver print. And then all I've got to do then is do the same file again. I think what will be easier if I just put 1 silver on the bed, and I'll print it twice in silver and once in blue. Da-da, done.
Yeah. Well, you could put the blue back on with the blue console, couldn't you?
I wouldn't know where you want the blue console. No, I've already done your blue console.
Yeah, I just said, can you reprint another one for me? Orange as well.
New orange or old orange? Both. I'll tell you what, I'll print you the old orange,
Yeah.
but I will then print you the new orange as a sample.
Oh.
Because I just know when you see the new orange, you are going to turn around and say, I want all of the orange bits reprinted. So, including the cabin, that I 3 attempts I made at that cabin. I hated that cabin, and I've still got about another 4 cabins to print for various people.
Okay. Right, I've definitely got a dash off, Penny. So
Yeah,
I will.
no worries. Listen, guys, I'm going to end the stream now.
Okay. Good night.
Exhausted.
Good night, Jason.
Yeah. Good night, all.
Right,
Good
guys.
night.
So tomorrow, is anyone streaming tomorrow?
Not I.
No.
Okay, if I get time, I may do a Harley, but I would probably not do it because I'll probably have too much on. So ignore that. So Monday is Chris Campling, and I believe he is now doing the Terminator.
Yeah.
Because I think he's got his 27 in. I did enjoy the X-Wing. Tuesday is Chris
Davis.
Davies.
Davies. Are you going to be able to do that Tuesday? Because you had a big struggle last Tuesday. Are you going to be able to pick up from there? Or will you need me to help you when I come round Thursday? You might want to message me about that. So I'm always, it's funny. I'm always concerned about Chris, and yet he does his streams so well. You know, I think he did do very well on Tuesday. There was a struggle. I think the biggest problem was the communication. I couldn't communicate to him in a way that he could understand, which was making the build harder for him. And he only swore twice.
Something like that, yeah.
I thought was very good. And I'm not joking. I am actually being serious there. I think the number of times that I swore under my breath when it was going wrong was far, far more than Chris did. So that brings us to Wednesday, which is Routemaster. So now, is that the catch-up issue? Is that the one where
That's 93? It'd be 93.
94 is the figure, isn't it?
Yes.
So it'll actually
93 was last Wednesday, so you'll be doing 93 next Wednesday, and 94 is the correct week for next Wednesday.
I've gone off again. So all those that get their magazines from this newsagent, I'm sorry, I've spoiled it for you. You're going to get Peter Capaldi from the newsagents. But that means that Wednesday I will be caught up.
Yeah.
So that's good. Thursday is possibly World of Wayne, or might not be World of Wayne. Friday
he didn't do it last Thursday, so basically
it will be.
Yes.
So if Chris lets me, I might be lurking on there, but obviously I've got so much to do around Chris's. And do you know what's funny? This will make you laugh. Last time I went to Chris's, I went straight from work, So I arrived in my work clothes and I left my trousers round his. So since May, I've had one pair of work trousers. Now my trousers were wearing out, and my trousers have got a hole in the crotch. And that I actually had the better pair on when I went to Chris's. So these trousers I've got, I'm going to show. I am going to show you. Right, this is. I feel like Oliver out of Oliver Twist, right? This is my trousers.
Oh my God.
Oh my
And
God.
I've not had any suitable trousers. And with the weather getting colder, I am feeling it.
I bet you are too.
One of the things I'm looking forward to is when I get round Chris's, I'm going to pick my trousers and I'll have a decent pair of trousers for work. So for at least another 6 months. So Friday is not Adrian, is it? So hopefully we can perhaps, if Horlicks, if you're watching, what about doing a little chatty stream? Don't actually do anything, just perhaps come on and chat. Maybe get someone to co-host with you.
Yeah.
And have a cup of tea with Horlicks.
Yeah.
That isn't right. Maybe a cup of Horlicks with Horlicks.
Yeah.
Something that you can, at any point, you can go, right, okay, guys, that's the end of the stream now. Goodbye.
Yeah.
And if you end up doing 5 minutes, or maybe I'm pushing you too much, but I think it'd be nice to see you on there. I mean, we loved seeing you when you came on before.
Give us an update with your bus and your tractor.
Yeah, give an update with those. Give an update with the room and how it's going. And that would be quite nice to see. And that would be really nice because that would then come on just as I get home. So I'll have because I've had to travel standard class, I'm afraid. So I normally go first class. It's normally £9 extra to go to Chris's at first class, but I'd have to wait an extra half an hour for a train.
Yeah.
So I'd actually rather get on a longer train. It leaves half an hour earlier, but it gets in 8 minutes earlier. So it's a longer train, but the weather's getting bad. I don't really want to be hanging around a strange town at 6 o'clock in the evening. So I'll probably have had a screen. I always get, the reason I go first class is, call me a snob if you want, but I always get the screaming kid or some annoying, the people going out for a drink and they're already drunk and they sit right opposite me, or the guy sat next to me and he sleeps on my shoulder. No, I don't have much luck with train travel. The only time I get any luck is when I go first class. The worst experience I've ever had on first class was there was the two phone chargers, one had broken, so we were sharing a socket. We both had really low batteries, and what we actually did, we were very civilized. She went first because she was getting off before me. She charged her phone to about 25%. Then I charged mine to about 25%, and then she charged her phone until she got off, and then I took over the charger when she got off. That's the worst experience I've ever had on a first class. And I think the best experience I've ever had in standard is a drunk woman sat opposite me.
Oh God.
So yeah, me and standard class just doesn't work. I couldn't go first class for a long journey, but yeah. So my top tips for travel is, if you go on a short journey, go first class and try to travel at awkward times of the morning. This is part of the reason why I'm traveling at 6 in the morning to Chris's, because the cabs don't come out before noon, do they?
No.
So,
Penny, Why don't you get some like shoulder pads you could put on your shoulders? What you do is you stick some drawing pins on there, and then you put your top on there. If they start sleeping on your shoulder, they're going to end up feeling the drawing pins.
Oh, yeah. But how do you stop the screaming kids? I had one coach journey once, and it was Sheffield to Birmingham. Excuse me. Excuse me. Sorry. And I'll never forget this. It was a woman and her child in the seat in front of me, and she was constantly screaming. She wanted sweets, and she was screaming and screaming, and I don't know where she got the energy from, but she screamed like a newborn baby. And eventually her mum gave in and gave her these sweets, and she gobbled these sweets down and then promptly threw up.
Oh.
And it stunk, and the coach driver actually kicked her off because it was horrible, and we actually had to change the coach. He refused to drive it, which I empathise with, because I won't ever drive a bus with vomit on it.
Yeah,
that was horrible. And it's one of those things where you're like, you can't really have a go at the mum because the mum's not done anything wrong, but at the same time you're like, God, badly raised children.
Yeah.
But then I was probably, I don't know if I was that bad when I was a kid. So anyway, this isn't ending the stream, is it?
No.
So right, so I'm gonna let you guys go. So thanks everyone. That takes next Saturday, obviously, which is going to be stage 8. So thank you very much for watching, everybody. I've got a fun-filled week coming up with lots to do, and I will let you two close off.
Okay, well, I'll go first if you don't mind. Thank you very much for watching. Catch us all next week here, same time, same place, 8 o'clock next Saturday for issue 8 of Build the Radio Control Tractor. And thank you for watching. Thanks for inviting me along as well, Penny.
Anytime, Dave. And that was said like a true pro.
Well said, Dave.
Thank you.
You took the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah.
Goodbye, all.
All right, you take care, guys. So I'll see you all next week. Thanks ever so much for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.